Thank you for another 1K
This is
conversation.
my part. Thank you for another 1K episode. We got a lovely guest, a fellow Montreal-based creator and PR specialist. Goes by the name of Aaliyah, at more of Aaliyah. Make sure to tap in. We got into a lot of aspects of content creation, the legality behind collaborations and content making. We got into a lot of differences in reality television. Some funny stories as well.
Yes,
what else
tips for beginners.
Tips for young
content
creators.
creating, all of that.
I got into a lot, so make sure to stick on to the ride with us. Tapped in, we here.
You are now tuned in to The Gifted Gab.
We here.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, Aaliyah. We got a great guest. You look good today.
Oh, thank you.
No worries. Where's the fit from?
The Bay, actually. It's a collab that I'm doing.
Yeah.
Releases tomorrow.
That you're part of.
Yes.
Talk about that. What the heck? Shout out to you. Congrats. Why you say that so humbly? That's big. Shit.
Yeah, I'm working with the Bay again for the second time. This time it's on clothing, so I'm really excited. And they have a new campaign that I unfortunately can't talk about because I signed an NDA, but it releases tomorrow. I will be posting a picture tomorrow.
That's what's up.
So you can look forward to that.
How'd you ink that? How did that happen?
Honestly, TikTok.
TikTok.
Just showing up on the app on TikTok and, commenting on videos and just being myself. And one day I got an email, and it's actually for a hair collab, which was a little bit different because I didn't really talk about my hair. I mostly talk about like skincare, beauty, a little bit of fashion. And the hair video actually did really well. So they reached back out to me for clothing. So yeah, I like the sage,
I was gonna say it's a like a very tonal look. Like it's not a hard black, hard white. Like it's, and I think that's gonna be the thing for the summer. Mm-hmm. And it's been around for a minute, but I like it.
Yeah, and I like how you can like dress it up, dress it down, So
yeah. That's good. That's what's up.
I like your sweater.
I appreciate it. This is just freaking.
We're kind of giving the same vibe.
Yeah. Shout out sweater season still.
Yes.
I know summer wants to come around the corner, but
I'm outside, so.
You're outside this summer.
I'm outside. Outside.
Goodness. Well, I mean, a lot of people are gonna be outside. We got some great things going on this summer. Rolling Loud. Caravana's back. I'm not gonna be in the parade. Yeah, I'm too old for that.
Too old?
Yeah, please. There's gonna be kids. There's like 18-year-olds going to that now. Like, what am I doing there?
I mean,
I'll go to the events after, but you're going?
I don't know. For me, it's just the costumes itself. Like, I don't know if I like the style of the costume, so that's where my head is at. But I'm trying to be outside. I'm trying to have fun. I
heard they're charging like $1,000 for certain costumes.
Yeah, for frontline costumes, about $1,000. I think backline is still pretty much in like the $350, $400 range. But yeah, I don't know.
That's not when I did mask. Mine was about $350.
Yeah,
$4-ish. But would you pay a rack for that?
I wouldn't. You know what, though? I would if it was in the Caribbean. Like, if I was in, Trinidad, Barbados, Jamaica. I mean, I don't even think Jamaica has masks,
like St. Lucia.
Somewhere overseas, like, for sure, I feel like it's worth it, the quality. But I feel like in Toronto,
I wouldn't. It's not.
Unless they the back line with the feathers.
This one might be crazy, though, because it's been the first one in, like, 3 years.
You know what? It's giving disorganized. I don't know. Like, for me, I feel like I'm a little weary about that.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be organized. And then the whole pandemic, mask on. Like, I don't want to be chipping down the road with a mask on.
It's idiotic. Imagine trying to shoot your shot on someone.
And all you can see is eyes.
Oh, it's risky, too.
It is.
It's risky.
It's vibes and eyes.
Vibes and eyes. Straight vibes and eyes. Not real shit.
Really can do.
Real shit. It's terrible. It's terrible. You can't shoot your shot. You don't even know what you're looking at right now, man. It's like shooting on a moving rim. Like, how do you do that? But no, like, I think one place that I'm interested in going to is the UK. I've been talking about that for a minute. I heard their festival is crazy. Notting Hill?
Yes, Notting Hill. I've been trying to go. I've been to the UK before.
Yeah.
Never been to that carnival specifically, but yeah, I'm trying to go there.
When did you go?
I went for school, actually. It was like my grad trip. We went to London, Paris, Switzerland, Germany.
Damn.
We were just bouncing around.
Damn, I'm actually kind of envious. I'm literally trying to. That's my goal this summer. I've been telling all my friends, just telling it and making it, like, just putting it on paper. Yeah, just traveling in general.
Manifest it all.
Yeah, as you know, I'm going to Jamaica. Excited for that.
You mean we?
Yeah, please, please.
We're going to Jamaica.
Please. Leave you at the airport. No, I'm doing that for family. So I'm doing that. And then so every summer I like to go and explore Canada. like I haven't been going to school here for the past 4 years and shit. But yeah, I'm going out west, trying to do Vancouver as usual, and yeah, just the UK really. That's my plans. But yo, outside is expensive.
It's expensive. I tweeted that the other day. I said this summer is gonna cost me like. Can we go back to 2019?
Can we go back to like 60-cent gas prices?
Oh my gosh.
You know what I'm saying? Like what? Why can't we have that? It's not given.
It's not. I know, it's so sad. Like, where's the money going? Just right out my hands.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, and like that's the thing about adulting. Like me now finally being away from home. There's a lot of things that I had to take into account that I never had before. Right? There's a lot of things
like
when
what?
you're at
now
home.
You're scaring me. Like what?
No, like when you're at like little things like toilet paper. You know what I'm saying? Making sure there's enough paper towel on the counter when people come over when you need it. Wash like just little things, and I'm like, damn. My mom was doing all this.
Yeah, right.
Shout out to her. Like she's a superwoman. Honestly, not only for that, for a lot of things. But when you move out and become your own adult, I like to call it adulting. There's some things that are different. You know what I'm saying? And for you, like you're not even from here.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't have that experience fully, but something similar. Like I'm, born and raised in Montreal. I moved here. I think it could be maybe going on 7 years now. Yeah, it feels long, but I feel like I still don't know Toronto like fully. It's so weird, but yeah, like I still live at home, but I have my own little space where I feel like it's mine. So I get you on the whole having to buy this and this and that. Especially I'm the only daughter as well, so I feel like it's a different vibe, just adulting, but also not really living at home. Sorry about myself.
Yeah, it definitely it was hyped up.
Yeah.
Adulting was very hyped up. There's a part of me that, like, as a kid, I wish I kind of enjoyed those experiences a little bit more because I always wanted to be older than I was. I always hanged around people that were older than me. I wanted to grow up very fast. And so, if I had to tell myself one thing, and if I had to talk to my 15-year-old self, I said, yo, just enjoy this a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Because this adulting thing, I don't know. Do you feel that way? How do you feel
that way. I feel like if I could, because I'm 26. So if I could tell my 20, like, I think I would be proud of myself. Yeah. I feel like it, like I moved away from home-ish.
It's a risk.
That is a risk. I pivoted in my career, trying something new. And that's just really been flourishing for me. So I feel like my younger self would be proud. But I definitely agree with you on adulting fast, like trying to make it happen fast.
So I remember we spoke about this previously, but what brought you to Toronto?
It's a little embarrassing. Okay, basically, one of the main reasons I would say is just growing up, a lot of people in Montreal saw Toronto as like the New York. It's really crazy. I know it's so embarrassing, but we really did. We really did. I'm not gonna speak for everyone. I'm gonna speak for people, okay, including myself. Where we saw Toronto as like if you wanted to make it or you wanted to do something, if you wanted to, just get out of your comfort zone, Toronto is where you want it to be. And it was just quicker to do that in Toronto. So I already kind of had the idea of moving here. I had, my dad here still. It's close to Montreal, so if I ever needed to go back home, I could. And then I was also playing basketball. So
you're a hooper.
I was.
Jeez. Oh, my goodness.
So I was like, okay, I want to come here. I want to play basketball. And, everything just 360'd. Like 1 year in, I was like, I want to go back to Montreal.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. I was like, I don't know anybody. Like, it was just weird at first. But I feel like I adjusted quickly.
Yeah, that first, like those first couple months, moving anywhere is tough, right? No matter if you know people or not. Like for me, I could relate to that. I went out west and moved to Alberta, to Edmonton. This is a summer that was completely new to me. I knew some people there. Like I used to hoop with a couple of my teammates at the time. I used to hoop with them back in Toronto because they were from there. So I had some connections there, but just in general, moving there is a bit of a culture shock. I'm sure for you it was probably the same. Montreal has that French aspect as well too.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna lie to you. When I hear Alberta, I'm like, what is there to do out there?
Actually, no. You have to give it a chance, though. I promise you. Yeah. You been to Calgary before?
I've never been.
Edmonton?
Actually, I have for an exchange, but I wouldn't say like I really was submersed into like the fun stuff there.
Go to Calgary has this one thing called the Stampede.
That sounds boring, Andre.
I promise you. Listen, I promise you. That is it's one of the funnest things I've done out there. I was there last year, actually, and one of my homies who's from here moved out there full time, found work. It pays well. There's no PST, right? The cost of living is cheap. Housing is cheap. And then just in general, aside from that, like being out there, you have the mountains, so you could hike whenever it felt like a fairy tale, if that makes sense. Like it felt like you don't get that here. just flat lands.
It's true.
You know, people are going to Hamilton calling it a hike. What are we doing? Tell that to
What
a
are
real
we doing?
Tell that to someone in Edmonton or Cal. They're gonna laugh at you. But in general, I'm like, this is somewhere I could visit. It's cool. I never lived there. It's mad cold, but this is somewhere I can, you know.
Yeah,
could
one
dabble
day.
in.
It's definitely on the bucket list for me.
Yeah. Where else is on the bucket list?
I'm going to Portugal in June
I'm
with
a
my
little jealous.
friends.
Shit.
Yeah, I'm going for Afro Nation.
Oh,
so straight Afro beats. There's a couple Caribbean artists as well, dancehall artists. So I do a lot of girls trips with my friends. Last time we went to Costa Rica, we went on a cruise. We went to Jamaica. We went to Barbados. So I plan a lot of those like little trips, and this was actually planned since like 2019.
Yeah.
But because of the pandemic, you know.
Those cruise ships, I'm not totally on board with him.
Why?
I know it's a little punny, but yeah, no, I just feel like yeah, they're enjoyable.
Okay.
Right? But you're on a boat for majority of the time, right? You're in water.
But I feel like you forget that because I feel like there's a lot going on. There's like the casino, there's like a club, like all you can eat like food unless you want to pay for stuff. But you know,
You never watched Titanic?
I have, but I can swim. I can swim.
Yeah, no, you got to be real bold to go on those things and not know how to swim.
Yeah.
That's a different level of confidence you have in what's going on here. That's different.
And
you know,
majority of Black people don't know how to swim, so
there's got to be a stat on that somewhere.
Yeah.
There's got to be a stat on that somewhere. So, I want to get back into the influencing aspect of what you do. You know, you're known, and I've seen this. You call yourself this a micro influencer.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It's funny because I feel like there's a little bit of a difference between like what an influencer is and a content creator, and I think a lot of people forget that. I feel like as a content creator, you know how to, of course, edit your videos. You know how to, do Photoshop, and like you're always
Adobe.
expanding. Yeah, you're sort of like your profile. I think for influencing, it's just you're working with brands predominantly, either posting on your socials or theirs. So I feel like there's a little bit of a difference, and I call myself a micro influencer mostly because of the fact that following plays a huge part in being a creator and influencer. So being a micro influencer means that I'm just a smaller influencer.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it's just more of like a humbling thing for me.
Did you make that up?
I didn't.
Where'd you get that from?
Just being submersed in
I feel
being
like
online.
I understand what you're saying, but
Yeah.
I kind of don't like it.
Yeah,
You're an influencer in that aspect. There's
Mm-hmm.
people that are on your page becoming influenced by that.
Yeah.
They're getting ideas. They're getting inspired by what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I like that about it. But I understand where it's coming from, because obviously you're not working with the Adidases and the Lulus or whatever you want to work with yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I get that, but you're still working with some big the Bay. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's true. You're right.
Yeah,
I have a friend who's always telling me like, why don't you just call yourself an influencer? And I feel like for me, it's not necessarily my goal to like influence people, but I want people to like be a part of something that I'm doing. So if I'm sharing something online, like I want you to be a part of that experience. Because for me personally, it's not really, my goal is not for you to be sold and like to just run away. Like I want you to be able to be a part of like what I do and what I post. So that's why for a big part of it, I call myself a creator, because I feel like I'm creating a like space, an experience versus just like trying to sell you something.
Yeah.
And that's it.
I can see that though.
Yeah.
Even before even meeting you and having work with us at the Gifted Gab, I can see you did a good job of building, not to use the buzzword of community.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone loves using that nowadays, but you've done a good job of creating that space where people can kind of be influenced with each other, but share ideas and have this, I don't know what to call it, like not even like a culture. It's like this.
Yeah.
What would you call it?
I think,
I
the word you're looking for is maybe an aesthetic.
Aesthetic, yes.
I think that's what
it's
it
an
is.
Aesthetic. You have that aesthetic, and it's crazy because I'll try to like, I'll look at your page sometimes. I'm like, how the hell did she do that shit? You have a camera and a tripod, but you're making it look like you have like this type of production here in the studio, like an actual team.
Yeah.
What's your secret?
Honestly, I feel like a lot of it is as I go. And I think that's why a really big part of making my recent video about like all things content creation is because I wanted to be able to be in this space for like more than 3 years, 4 years, and be able to like tell people how I did it instead of just being like, yeah, like I started 6 months ago. Like I actually have some like real information because I didn't have anyone to go to. I learned a lot of the things I learned like on the go. And so a big part of it is just content planning and, working with brands and being able to sort of not make things too much of like ad, but like incorporating, a bit of what I do and what products I love to use. And then, here's an advertisement and then back to, square one again. So, a lot of it is just planning out my feed. I use a lot of different apps, creative apps, to look at my feed and sort of make things just work together.
I want to ask, speaking on the aesthetic and collaborating with different companies, how do you tread the line between authenticity and collaboration where, maybe deep down you feel a certain way about a product, about a brand, about an experience, but there may be a company that wants to collab with you on something else.
Yeah.
And maybe you might not agree with how do you keep yourself true to what you believe in and authentic while working with these companies?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think authenticity for me is like key, especially when it comes to like key messaging and like branding and stuff like that. I'm really big on making sure that whatever I'm doing, like it comes out of me first. So if, a brand is looking for like a hair care line, I'm not just going to sit there and just talk about the hair care. I'm going to talk about why I personally like it. And a lot of the times when you're working with brands, like you sort of have like this use period. So I'm able to try out the products first before signing any contracts or anything like that. And I'm really big on not sharing anything I wouldn't use personally. And I know a lot of people are like, they're for the money. I'm for the money, but at the right cost, and at the right things that I'm giving to people and showing people.
The cost isn't always financial. Yeah,
exactly. Like for me, it's all about, me actually really loving a product enough to share it with an audience.
Yeah. And that's how you build that trust.
Yeah.
I've asked you questions about how do you build trust when you're dealing with branding and things like that for the Gifted Gab purposes, obviously. But I like what you just said there. It's because you're not going to promote things that you don't even believe in yourself.
No, exactly.
So if I'm following you as inspiration or as a fan of what you're doing, I'm going to know whatever you're putting out is some quality shit.
I know that's
it's that
right.
simple. You know what I'm saying? So before we move this on, what got you started into influencing, or what got you started into this brand that you're in right now?
Yeah, so I actually had a YouTube channel with my best friend, and it's very embarrassing, so I'm not going to say the name of it.
You don't have to.
It's so embarrassing, but yeah, like I kind of already knew that I really liked this space, but growing up, I felt like for me, the arts wasn't really a career. Like I just never saw it as a career. No one ever even had to tell me that. Yeah. Like my parents were never like, you can't, do anything that's like creative. But I always saw like science and like math and all of that as like a career and a better career for me. So I went straight into that, wanting to be a physio, and I was very close. I was working at the hospital and I was doing all of that. But I found myself while I was at work sort of thinking about like things that I want to do creatively. So like while I'm working with patients and stuff, I'm thinking about all the stuff that I wanted to film. And I start to realize, like, why am I in this space if it doesn't, like, fulfill me? It's not giving me passion or nothing like that. Yeah. And then I go home and I'm, like, all up in the wee hours, like, recording stuff. And I'm like, no, this is where I want to, like, make it switch, So for me, I don't want to say it took the pandemic, but I feel like it took the pandemic for me to realize, like, am I really happy where I am? Like, do I want to continue into this field despite me studying for 4 years and paying tuition, and you know what I mean? Like, do I want to? But then I had to really look at the bigger picture, and I realized that like all skills are transferable. So like whether I learned how to do something on a computer, that's administrative skills. If I pick up the phone, all of a sudden, like, I'm a customer service rep. You know what I mean? Skills were, like, so transferable. So I used everything I learned in, like, that science and physio, and I just basically took it over to, like, this PR side. Yeah. And really, it literally just went hand in hand for me.
That's insane. Because normally a transition from one field to another, especially two Jurassic fields, take a while.
I know.
It takes a bit of grinding.
It does. And you know what? While I'm in this field, and, I actually start my first day next week, Monday. So
shout out to you.
Yeah,
shit.
There's even, like, a lot of opportunities for healthcare to use PR. So because I, come from that healthcare background, I have that science background, it really isn't super different, you know, like I'm still learning something and taking that over into PR.
Yeah, like there's certain aspects of math and stats that you use when editing.
Yeah.
Right, knowing timestamps and things of that.
And even like media monitoring, just being able to like look at things and take out messages and, you know, being able to do all of that. And knowing math comes in for research as well. And so I feel like, you know, it worked out in like the best way.
Yeah. And I like what you said. I want to take it back to what you're saying about being in these science and mathematician fields. It reminds me of Robin Williams, R.I.P. He said it was on Dead Poet Society, the movie. He said that, you know, math, science, and engineering, all these are noble pursuits, but arts is what keeps us alive. You know, I think the world obviously requires people in these STEM fields to operate. We need hospitals, right? We need engineers. We need these things. But when it comes to arts, what we're doing here, what you're doing, I brought on a guest the other day who's a photographer. He has galleries. Shout out Spooky. These things are what ultimately inspire others people.
Yeah.
They keep a lot of us alive. They keep us invigorated, and they keep us expressive.
Exactly.
You know, and that's why I like bringing on creators like yourself, because you get it. It's that simple. You get it, and you understand the value in what arts can do.
Exactly. Like for me, I think it's really also just a community. It feels different. I feel like when you show up in these type of spaces, people are willing to kind of share and really just be able to work with you and network with you versus more of the science jobs where it's just like you go to work and you come back home.
Yeah, it's pen
like,
and paper,
you know,
9 to 5. Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I feel like. That's what it was kind of bringing me, you know.
Yeah.
So that's why I love the idea of being able to make this a full-time job. And then also go back to school and use PR to really just like enhance my skills. But yeah, like I feel like I agree with what you're saying. I think for the most part, a lot of people choose the sciences and stuff because it seems like a smarter idea.
Yeah.
But you can actually really make great money as a creative.
The funny thing is, there's a lot of engineers working at Tim Hortons.
Ooh.
I'm being dead serious. There's a stat on that actually. But
it's calling people out.
No, a degree doesn't guarantee anything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what we're sold. We're told that as a lie as kids, like, and that you need this in order to get that. Yeah. You know, I'm a huge fan of education. I just graduated from U of A. I got my degree there. I'm complete. I'm like, when I have kids, education first, of course. But what I will not tell them is that a degree is a prerequisite for success. I think that's one of the biggest lies we're taught as kids. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's changing now, and especially with our generation, like, yo, we can actually get a bag from this thing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You're getting a bag from what you're doing, and it's telling.
I honestly think the key to success is like networking.
Oh,
that's what I think it is. I think it's literally being in spaces, introducing yourself. I know it seems like such a scary thing to do, to walk in a space, but I feel like introducing yourself and seeing how, you know, you can help somebody and how they can help you, I feel like that is where you'll succeed. Yeah. And I'm a huge believer in education as well, because as I mentioned, like all skills I feel like are transferable, but I think there's just the power of just saying hi and just speaking to people, because you never know. That's kind of like how we met, right?
Facts.
That's literally it. And look at us today.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, no, it's positioning.
Yeah,
positioning.
Just putting yourself out there and just saying hi and networking and using LinkedIn. I think a lot of people don't really use LinkedIn as a tool.
I'm one of those guys. Listen, I know you told me, listen.
You got to get on LinkedIn.
I'm slacking on that.
Yeah. I saw somebody announce a pregnancy on there the other day. I'm like, that's the kind of app that it's changing into. Like, it's becoming the new Facebook. That's what it's seeing at. Would you? I mean, I would never do it though, but I'm just like, okay, y'all are just out here it's not even a career app no more.
Hold on, what?
Yeah, a whole baby. Very proud, you know.
How does that?
A whole child.
Let me just take it back a little bit. How does a pregnancy help with business? Because
now the app is no longer like how to get a job and how to do this, and you know what I mean. It's literally becoming the new Facebook. People are on there announcing things other than jobs. You know.
So I'm actually behind right now.
You're behind.
I need to get on that.
You got to get on there. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Shit.
And I'm starting to realize too, like adulting is like spending a lot of time on those type of apps. It's wild.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, no, I agree. As a kid, I used to look at LinkedIn like, what is this piece of shit?
Yeah, like who's on here?
Who's on there?
Yeah.
Like, oh, grown-ups? Yuck.
Yeah.
What am I doing here? No, I like that though. I'm gonna take that. I hope anyone that's listening to that could take this advice too, because that's you're right about the TikTok thing. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure you're gonna be right about that. So, on the topic of micro-influencing, Is there any red flags you have with it?
Red flags.
When it comes to even collabing with businesses, or is there something that they might say that are just like, nope, I'm not doing that? Or
I think as a red flag, it would be mostly the things that you don't know as a creator starting. I think for me, I've learned to not say yes to everything. And I think at the beginning stages, like I would most likely consider a lot of things because I feel like I need to build a resume.
Yeah.
And in order for me to build a resume, it allows me to kind of pitch to other brands and say like, hey, I've worked with these places before. Like, you're going to pay me my worth.
Yeah.
You know, like that for me was like building my resume. But now I realize like not everything I don't need to say yes to. You know, I get some things and, you know, I look at the offer, I'm reading it. I'm like, okay, does this benefit me or does this benefit you? Because it really, sometimes it doesn't really do much for me. And I'm like, okay, like you want me to post this and post this, but I'm like,
what am I getting?
Yeah, what am I getting out of it? And also too, I like when brands sort of know what I do. So if you're pitching me on something like that's, I'm trying to think about something that's like, let's just say shoes, okay? I don't talk about shoes.
That's
you
part
don't
of
see.
Your brand. Do you have any of those situations where a brand
I have,
came to you?
yeah, I've had a situation. I had a dildo situation. I had a dildo company actually reach out to me, and mind you, I talk about like periods. I talk about women stuff, but I just feel like that's just different. You know,
So
like
wait, when was this?
this is recently actually.
What was the first thought that came to your mind?
I was thinking to myself like, my mother is about to watch this shit. Like, if I were to really like, if the
she
money
follows you?
My mom?
Yeah, she follows you on IG?
She does.
What would she say?
Your mother doesn't follow you on IG?
My mom does. My dad does though.
Okay.
Yeah. What would she say?
Both my parents follow me on IG.
Shout out parents.
Yeah. You know what? I think if I told her and I tried to change the narrative, like, Mom, they're paying. Like, it's good money. She'd probably be like, yeah, I don't know, you know, like look who's watching. I know she's gonna say that, but I feel like she supports me, you know. Shout out to the moms, like you said. Yeah. I feel like she supports me, so I feel like she would sort of make it make sense for her. Yeah. But I feel like for me, like I've shot things in like bikinis before. Like I recently shot something for like Shea Moisture, and my dad was like, "Why are you up in this bathroom?" He's like, "Why are you in the bathroom in the bikini on?" So it's like I feel like. For me, not necessarily it would be crossing the line, but I don't think I would go there in terms of promoting like that
type of content. Yeah.
You know, I like, you know.
It's just like no.
No.
Did you consider it?
I didn't.
You didn't? Okay.
I didn't. My first thought again was like my mom, and then I was kind of thinking like, you know, I would promote things if brands were to really look at the content that I you know can't come out with, but I feel like that was just not my style.
And you can tell when brands just do no research on who they're approaching for sure, and that's one of the instances.
I've had brands like address me by the wrong name. Yeah.
Hold on, wait. What do you mean? Like
they'd be like, "Hi, Helen." And I'd be like,
No.
Yeah, and then they would follow up like, "I'm so sorry, Aaliyah." So a lot of the times, like I can tell like when an email is like personal.
It's an auto, yeah. Okay,
they like
sense.
copy and paste, and they kind of go through like where the names are, and it's like fill in the blanks.
That person's getting written up. Whoever sent that, definitely getting caught up. Definitely getting brought up to PR for sure. That's crazy. So you talked about lines, you know, and as a creator, you need lines. You need boundaries. When it comes to what you're promoting, when it comes to what you're showing. Like on my podcast, I have lines. You know, I'm not going to be out here spewing hatred on people because that's just not who I am. That's my line, right? What are some of yours? Yeah,
so for me, when I'm working, I'll answer this question, I guess, in like two parts. When I'm working with brands, there's something called key messaging. And so like I would have to sort of use sort of key messaging in terms of what the brand of what it is, the product that I'm promoting. And then I kind of put in my own little like style into it, you know? So I kind of do a little bit of that, but in terms of just like who I am, when I am getting pitched to, I like to say that I work with brands that are like mostly inclusive. And I also am really trying to work with places or brands that are a little bit more on the cruelty-free side. And just like a little bit more on like the sustainability side, because I feel like that's an approach that a lot of people are taking now. And I'm telling you, you were talking about cancel culture, they will cancel you real quick. If I'm out here promoting a brand that's not sustainable, trust me, the comments will be flooded with.
You're going to get a lot of vegans in the
DMs? Yep. And they come in hard. It's
They're
like,
tough,
yeah, they like email each other on the side, like, this is the new one for the day.
Oh man,
And
you're on a hit list.
you can't play. That's why, you know what I learned about the other day, actually, because a lot of the times when I'm working with brands, I have to read over a lot of contracts. And that's something else that I think is another red flag. People don't really teach you how to like sort of read over the fine lines. And I learned the other day that if you are posting about a brand, and let's say, for example, there are a bunch of people that did not like something, they can sue you for that.
Wait, huh?
They can sue you. So let's say, for example, like this red cup, right? So here's my promotion of this red cup. And I post about it, and it's, let's say it's a paid collaboration or a gifting collab. If, let's say, for example, people are talking about, oh, you're using plastic, it shouldn't, da-da-da-da, cancel, da-da-da, the brand can sue me. The brand can sue me.
Because of the reception it got.
Exactly. And that's actually in the fine print of every contract that a lot of influencers are working with. But I think a lot of people don't know that. So I'm so grateful that I found that TikTok, because a lot of things in a contract you can negotiate.
Yeah.
You know, so let's say, for example, I'm like, oh no, I don't want to have full liability of this. You know, like give me like a percentage if something were to happen. I shouldn't have to pay this amount of money for like bad publicity. So,
yeah.
You know, I shouldn't have to pay this amount of money for bad publicity.
Yeah.
So
that's not, well, the thing about reading is a lot of people don't read.
No.
A lot of people don't even know what they're getting into. And just in general, like the amount of times, like I even seen Twitter and IG have to incorporate the COVID. Like, remember when if you share like an article on COVID, Instagram would be like, listen, you didn't, or Twitter would be like, you didn't read the article. Are you sure you still want to retweet this? So in those aspects, I kind of like that, because people only see what's on the cover. They only read what's on face value. So I like what you pointed out there, because people do not read.
People don't
it's
read.
nuts. And being in your field, you need that.
You need it.
You don't know what. Imagine signing a contract saying, yeah, after this, you owe us 50% of the funds that are accumulating with you, and you know you're assigned to us for a 5-year deal. Can't promote any other brand. Like those are scary things.
Yeah, like,
you know what I mean. Like
for me, like those are some things that I kind of look at. Like for me, when I'm reading a contract, I look at usage rights and ad rights.
Usage rights.
Yeah. So a little bit about that. What that is again, I'm promoting this cup. And, you know, I give the video to the brand, and they can actually use that video for ads. And that's how they make money, right?
And you get no royalties off of that. I
get nothing off of that. And that's happened to me once. And I was like in the beginning stages of content creation. I realized that a video I posted was used for ads.
That'd be so tight.
Yeah, it was a story. Oh my God. It was really bad. I had people sending me congratulations stuff.
Damn.
And the whole time I was kind of like, I don't want to tell them this, because I feel like I shouldn't, you know, thank you so much for seeing the ads. But I'm like, why is this brand like doing this? And I kind of read over, and I was like, I didn't even like negotiate this. I didn't even say nothing to it. So they're making money. Like when I tell you that video got 1 million views on Facebook.
Went viral?
Yeah. And I got 0 for it.
Terrible.
And you know what I did? I sent an email. And I was like, listen, I know this was in the contract, but I also never gave you rights to this. And they actually ended up paying me.
You got a percentage?
I did.
Shout out to them.
Yeah. And shout out to me for not fucking, you know, like I didn't just sit still and say, oh, well, who cares?
There's a lot of people that would have sat back and just hugged that L.
Yeah. And I almost did that.
You did?
I almost did that, because I was like, am I really going to like email this place right now and, you know, and try to see if I can fight for whatever it is. But I also feel like, why not like try? And I got money back from it, and I'm just like, all right.
The worst thing that could happen is no.
And it's always a lesson. So now going forward, I'm just like, you have rights, you don't have rights.
Yeah.
You want rights, you got to pay me for this. You got to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So nothing comes free.
That's what's up. That's what's up. I want to ask, what are like so for people that are listening to this that want to get into what you're doing, which is, as you like to call it, micro-influencing. I say influencing.
I'm going to say influencing just for you.
So for people that are getting into this industry, what are some bare minimum requirements you need when starting this?
Okay.
And it can be anything from post-production to pre-production or who you need, anything.
Okay. I feel like my number one would be to have interest in whatever it is that you're doing. Because I think a lot of people are really excited to start. They see that it works out so well for somebody, and they're like, I want to do it too. But that's like the quickest way that you're going to burn out. Like, you want to be passionate about it. You want to be passionate about posting. You want to be passionate about editing. You want to be passionate about creating, working with brands, because you will burn out and you will not find it fun. And you will be angry that brands are not reaching out. You'll be angry that your video posts are not doing well. Your engagement sucks. There's 0 likes on this. You know, there's like something about having a passion that continues. You like want to continue to spark it. Yeah, right. You want to keep going, because at the end of the day, it's something that you're passionate about. So I would say 100% that. And then I also want to just stress the fact that you actually don't really need much to start. Like I started with my phone, and it took me 6 months in until I realized, like, okay, maybe I wanted to invest in a camera. But your iPhone can help you out for a couple of months or whatever. So I would say like that's super key in starting out. And oh my gosh, what else? I would say quality. And I think you learn quality as you grow.
Quality is in the type of content you're producing or how it's filmed, or
Literally a bit of both, because a lot of times I remember starting off, like I would probably see this blue background and say, yeah, cool, let me pose. I'd be like, who cares? Like I could just pose behind this. And some people will make it work, but I think now what makes quality is like really looking at your background, really looking about how like what you're wearing is like in trend, or like it styles you perfectly, and like you think about the weather, you're thinking about literally multiple things outside of just like creating content.
Yeah,
I feel like those are like the key 3 things, because I realize now more than ever, like when I'm shooting content, I'm thinking about the weather, I'm thinking about what can go with the outfit, what can I style, what about my hair, like I'm thinking about everything.
Yeah,
you don't realize that. You think you can just pose behind this blue thing until you see the picture and you're like, oh shit,
that's terrible.
This is and especially when you go down to the early days in the feed and you're like, oh god, that's how it was.
This is the thing though, when you look at the earlier work and kind of cringe, that means you're improving.
It's true.
It means your bar is raising.
100%. Lighting is huge. Like
that's
wild.
different. So you obviously being a black woman yourself, you're in an industry that I look at as predominantly white, especially being on YouTube. Maybe I'm mistaken. I don't know. I see a lot of creators there that aren't obviously part of that BIPOC community.
Yeah.
Or I guess. But for you being in this space, what does being a black woman mean to you, and the representation that it has?
Yeah.
Does it mean anything? Do you value that aspect, or is it something that you kind of always have in your back pocket, knowing that this is what I am and this is what I bring to the space?
Yeah, I can definitely say that whenever I do get invited to like influencer events, or I'm invited to like showrooms and stuff, I do see a lot of white people. And, I wish the space was a little bit more black, and I think a lot of times more now than ever, especially with like Black Lives Matter and the whole movement, I think a lot of times brands are trying to move into that space where they're using more black people on their feeds, and they're, collaborating with more black people. But even with saying all of that, there's still a pay gap that's really fucked up.
That's terrible.
There's still a pay gap.
Are you talking about between race, like black and white people, or just between men and women?
Literally,
or both?
Literally, I guess both, really. But
wow.
mostly specifically like black women and obviously white women. Like there is still a pay gap. So it's not necessarily like having more black people in this space, but it's also just when brands are reaching out to people of color, it's probably on a gifting basis, whereas they probably will take the leap in paying a white influencer the money, and the engagement does a little bit better on their socials. And that's why I love TikTok, because I think on TikTok people can really show up as themselves, and I think a lot of people now, especially brands, are using more like user generated content, which is just content that's just chill. Yeah. It's not calculated. It's not scripted. Forced. It's not scripted. It's just chill and relax.
I like that because you feel like you're stepping inside their world. There's nothing fake about it. It's all authentic. I like that. That's the things that I gravitate to myself. And that's why I like having these type of conversations. I don't have a set of notes here and guidelines I have to follow. You're not signing any contracts. Like it's just literally you step in, you chop it up. Yeah. It's literally that simple. And that's what I like about it. But yeah, that's I like how you said that brought up that pay gap thing. Yeah, that's a serious issue. One of my classes I took in university brought up the idea of double discrimination. Being a black woman, those are two things that are often discriminated against in our society.
Being a woman and being black.
So stepping into that space now, what you're doing means more than you're doing things that mean more than just yourself. You're representing more than just yourself, and you know that.
Yeah, and I love that. Yeah, I love how you said that because that's exactly what it is. Like being a woman, I think obviously is beautiful. I'm very grateful. I love being a woman. But I think there is sort of this misconception in terms of creating content where, I want to post certain things, but I feel like how people may perceive it is just different. And I think as a woman, engagement is just a little bit harder because I find that when you're posting, majority of them are like men. If that makes sense.
When posting for, like, what do you mean, the audience?
Yeah, so for the audience. So let's say, for example, I'm just like posing in a dress, right? And a lot of the times, like, what brands look for is the ratio between men and women. And I think it's really important that, you know, the ratio is more women than men. But as a woman, sometimes there is more men than women, right? So I think that's where there's also a disadvantage where analytics show that, and just you as a person where you want to sort of communicate to more women, but the men be menning. The men be menning, like.
Yo, don't kill me. I will say one thing though, and I'm sure as a woman you probably noticed this, when you post more provocative images or videos, it's getting more traction than the ones that are covered. Have you experienced that? Because I've seen other women bring that up. Yeah. And I wanted to ask, is that something you encountered too?
I think for me, not really, because of the content that I do post. But there has been like some content where like I'm in a bikini, just like a regular beach photo, and I would see that there's more men.
Blowing up,
Yeah, there is more men. Yeah. So I mean, it happens, but I mean, you cannot control the algorithm. So.
Yo, algorithms, that's a whole nother story, man. And that's why I kind of ask you questions. I'm like, how should I kind of tweak this a little bit? And I'm because it's always changing. It's always evolving, and I'm still trying to catch up. And that's my biggest issue with myself, with what I do personally with my socials, and then obviously with the Gifted Gab. We're getting a hang of it. We're getting there, but you know, like you said, you're always a text away. So that's why I kind of So being in this journey that you're on right now, what do you have planned? Like, what's next? What's coming up?
Starting next week, I will be full-time in public relations, and actually touching a little bit on.
Oh, that's the wrong one.
I love that. So next week, starting full-time in PR. And my role is going to touch in a little bit more of like lifestyle, consumer, and a bit of tech too, which is like a huge industry. A lot of people are talking about.
Yeah. I seen this wave of Black people in tech.
Yeah, it's wild, isn't it? And I think a lot of people are trying to like really go. Every time I'm on TikTok, every time I'm online, it's like how to merge into tech. Yeah, it's like the biggest thing right now. So I'm excited that I'll learn a little bit more about that. But ideally, I feel like 5 years from now, I would love to kind of mix the both and make it sort of mesh really well. So again, being a full-time influencer, being a full-time, thank you. Being a full-time influencer and maybe even starting my own agency. I don't know. I would love to. It's something that different. I thought about. Yeah. Maybe doing it, and I think I would actually start with the micro influencers. I would start with the people who are small, because I think a lot of times there's always resources for the people who are already kind of there. They've already made it. And, you know, I've had a lot of, I know a lot of PR agencies, especially ones in Toronto who are even Black, but in order for them to like even take you on, you need to have a certain following, a certain niche, you know what I mean? So I feel like there's like an industry that's missing for the people who want to start.
Yeah, there's a gap there.
And I feel like because of all the things that I know and all the things that I've had to learn on my own, I feel like I have the knowledge to be able to teach people who want to start at the very early stages.
Because you've been there. You started where they were. And you, not to say that you're freaking Kim Kardashian. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying you've had that experience of being on the ground. You started from the ground up, and you've built your YouTube to how many subscribers?
I don't even know. I'm maybe even like 26 now.
Shit. Shout out to you, though. Yeah. That's big. That's huge.
And I'm like, I need to get back on there. I've been slacking.
It's been a minute?
It's the short form videos.
Yeah.
I'm blaming the short form videos.
Yeah, Reels, YouTube Shorts.
Nobody is watching long videos anymore.
Everyone has, like, our attention span has been cut to like 3 seconds now.
It's actually really bad.
It's terrible.
It's terrible. I was watching a video the other day and I was like, get to the point.
Yeah. And
I was like, God, it's only been 8 seconds. And I'm like, get to the point.
Everyone has I feel like, not to say this loosely, but everyone has ADD now. Yeah. It's like for someone to sit down and read a book nowadays, it's terrible. Like, I try to force myself, because there are times when I force myself to read books and I end up enjoying it. Mm-hmm. But to actually get into it is the hardest part.
I agree.
And that's something that I feel like a lot of us, especially in our generation, suffer from, because we're always...
Yeah, on our phones.
You know what I'm saying? That's the hardest thing. One idea I wanted to bring up, I heard this on the news the other day, the aspect of a creator house. You heard of that?
No.
Where, like, I don't know who pays for the house, but it's like this environment. I think it's funded by like some type of corporation or whatever, and they'll bring on different creators, like popular creators in YouTube and Instagram, and they'll be in this one house. And this house is set up for them to create content.
Interesting.
Literally, and they're getting paid for, these creators are getting paid for this.
I think it's a Netflix series.
It might be.
I know they do a lot of US.
Yeah, I don't know. I wish someone. Yeah. Anyways, I heard this idea and I'm like, yo, this is kind of genius.
It's cool.
It could play out very well. It could also play.
Qualifies.
Who qualifies too?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That's huge.
It feels like.
Would you do it?
Go in a creator house? Depends. Okay. Is it something where I can like leave the house and do the other things? Probably.
Yeah, leave the house.
But I also need my own space though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, facts.
Because you can tell when a lot of people put out content that isn't them. It's a little bit fake.
Yeah.
And it's like to be around that 24/7.
Yeah. And then like, what about the space in itself? Like, what if I want to be behind this blue? Yeah. You know, that you want to do that too. I guess there's like booking times. Yeah, there's
probably booking times. But like, what if like your content kind of conflicts with another creator's content?
Yeah.
Like you guys have two opposing views, and then your bedrooms are right beside each other.
Yeah. And also too, I don't even know, because I feel like you have a lot.
Imagine like what, like
I'm picturing it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Imagine sleeping in the same room. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like Big Brother. Imagine that.
I love Big Brother. Are you watching Big Brother?
No, I didn't watch it this season.
This is probably the best season. I didn't watch
it really?
This is the best season.
Yeah, I had Deshaun on.
I know. Yeah, it was a great episode.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. That was. It's good. You're saying? Yeah. Really?
Yeah, I love it. You should watch it.
Shit. Okay.
I actually never thought that I would ever go on reality TV, but I actually signed up twice for reality TV.
Which one chose?
I signed up for Love Island.
Oh.
And I actually got an interview. And unfortunately, because of the pandemic, things changed, and I kind of just couldn't do that. And I also signed up for The Bachelor, and I actually got 2 interviews for that.
How many interviews are there?
I think there's about 3. I think it's depending on how much they like you. I think if they interview you and they really love you, they probably give you the position or whatever. But
so if you get like to 3, you're on the show type of thing.
I assume so.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So Love Island and The Bachelor.
That's crazy. You could picture yourself obviously on those shows.
To be honest, I can picture myself in Love Island mostly because it's more of like a fun dating space.
Yeah.
But I don't know about The Bachelor because that's like one man.
It's just,
one man. You're fighting for one man.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and it's just marriage is the goal.
The fact that The Bachelor is so interesting these days is because I feel like women have taken a position of like, no, men need to chase me. I will never I feel like women will never compete for a guy ever, especially in this day and age. Or maybe they're just capping, because I see it a lot on Twitter.
Yeah.
You know, if you have to choose between me and this other girl, choose the other girl. Like that's the thing. You know what I mean?
So that's a little different.
That's a little different. So I see that, but the fact that show is even able to run and operate, it's pretty interesting. But me personally, I could see you on Big Brother for sure, 100%. I could see you on Love Island too.
I know.
I could see you on Love Island. And what was the other show? Too Hot to Handle.
Oh, it never.
I could see you on that. I can see you on that. I can see you on Too Hot to Handle.
Isn't Too Hot to Handle for people who like literally can't, like,
they
want to have sex every 2 seconds?
No, it's like you compete. Like you're aren't you like assigned to someone, and then like if you don't have sex, you end up winning like a meal at the end.
Yeah, but everyone in there acts like they can't have sex for a week.
Can't or yeah.
Yeah, that's
so
that's
you don't even have to act.
Yeah, but I'm losing money. No, because other people are making me lose money.
Oh, is that how it is? I thought it was just, so it's as a collective.
Yes, as a collective. Like,
if
you're over here kissing face with Susie, you're losing. And I'm getting pissed. I can't be on that show, right? Because I will tell you off.
Oh, shit. I forgot that's how, because I thought it was like you're paired up in groups.
You're still paired.
But you're obviously you're working as a team, though, as a collective.
Yeah. Oh, so the minute you lose me money, I'm mad. So I don't want to be on a show like that, because I will tell you off. I will not sit there and be like, yay, $300. You know,
like, no. Bro, you're on that. I don't know how long they're probably recording for. It's probably a long time.
Actually, it's not.
Really?
It's funny because when I actually was applying for those 2 shows, like they tell you the show, it's only like about 3 to 4 weeks.
Because Tashawn was telling me Big Brother is like 3-4 months.
Yeah, that's a little long.
Which is like his whole season, obviously. Yeah. But he's like, you're secluded. You're in this one area.
Yeah.
You don't have phones. You can't talk to your mom or dad. You can't communicate with the outside world. You literally have a set schedule. It's like to me, what I pictured was jail.
Yeah.
Just televised
literally.
Jail. Literally. And so to be in that situation, everything is getting altered. Right?
I'm surprised it's even that long. It's so weird that it's that long, because it's like, they spend every day together, and
spend
filming is
every
only
day.
twice a week.
Yeah, he said that like 90% of the things that happened in the house didn't even make the show.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, why would it need to be that long if you only
Yeah.
post it's only live like twice
It's
in a week?
interesting. Yeah.
That's crazy. Would you ever
reality-
go on?
Reality TV?
Yeah.
I wouldn't. My cousin's actually on it. She's on Real Housewives of Miami.
What?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. We don't really talk. We're not, that side of the family aren't too close, but it's
Yeah.
funny because like I see her on there. I'm like, what the hell? What's going on here?
Yeah, reality TV is a different game. You
It's-
have to
yeah.
have like thick skin. Like that's literally it. Because your whole life, is on air. It's not even like you can go back and be like, can you please edit that?
There's nothing. Yeah, like you can't live a regular life
No.
after being on these shows.
No.
You can't work. I mean, maybe, but
And
you
you
can't
go
really
in
work on a
thinking
9
you're
to
not going to
5.
cry. You're not going
Yeah.
to meet anybody. And all of a sudden it's like you're in the corner.
You're just
And they're hugging
balling
you
out.
and just rubbing your back. And
Exactly.
it's like, fuck.
Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah, like send me home now.
That's gotta be the worst,
This is
man.
embarrassing.
That's probably the peak. That's probably peak vulnerability being on those shows.
Yeah, like you have to be okay with that.
You have to live with that.
No, I don't know.
You have to leave the show. You have to leave the show knowing your mom's gonna see that, pops is gonna see that,
Yeah.
all your exes are gonna see that,
I mean,
your future whatever's gonna see that,
Yeah.
whatever. You know, that's gonna be like, damn.
yeah, you have to have thick skin.
Yeah, I don't know if I could probably do Big Brother. I do Big
I
Brother.
want you. We should do it.
I do a Big
Should
Brother.
apply.
Alex has been talking about it for a minute.
Alex?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I feel like Alex would be dope. I think he has a very
Yeah.
calm demeanor.
That's all you need.
Yeah, and
Can't
I feel like
overreact.
and I feel like a lot of people be like, I can't read him.
Yeah, I get
No?
that all the time, to be
Oh,
honest.
like can we read him? Like, is
Yeah.
he whose side is he on? But I think
Yeah,
I
what's
think
going on?
he'll play really well. I'm gonna sign him up.
Yeah, you gonna sign him
Yeah,
up?
I'm gonna sign him up. I'm gonna just do it. I just do it as long as I know how to say like write his last name. I'm good.
Yeah. No, that's crazy.
I'm gonna sign Alex. I'm signing you up.
No consent needed.
Yeah.
Yeah, just gotta listen to the episode. That's all you need. Yeah, no, that's funny. I feel like I would do it. Would I regret it? Probably not. Would I be nervous? Yeah.
You never know. You
'Cause
might
you're-
go on that show, and next thing you know, it's like you're in an argument, or you find
Yeah.
love,
You win 100,000.
or you win 100,000.
My boy's up about 100K right now. Like he's
Yeah.
laughing.
And don't
You know
forget,
what
you
I'm
gotta kind of lie your way through that too.
Yeah,
So it's
of
like
course.
you gotta have like thick
Yeah.
skin. It's different.
He told me the secret is just to kind of like be in the shadows.
Yeah.
You can't be in the front line
No.
making a mess out of everything.
And you
just-
can't. You have to separate your heart
Yeah,
too,
yeah.
because the minute you feel bad for people and you feel bad with stuff, it's like you're not gonna
damn,
win.
You're cooked already. So
Yeah.
yeah. Well, yeah, this has been a great episode. Pretty much overdue. I say that to all my guests, but I mean, I sincerely mean that for this one. Obviously, we've been working together for like 3-4 months.
Longer, I think,
Jason,
actually.
Alex, probably longer than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like September, August.
This is the first time I lied. Second time I've ever had someone that's worked with the podcast beyond the podcast itself. So
Yeah.
it's always interesting to have that dynamic. So
Yeah.
Before we wrap it up though, you have any last words?
Well, first, thank you for having me. And no, yeah, it's been a fun experience. Of course, still creating content, still navigating career. So yeah, I'm excited, and we'll continue working together.
All right, shout out. You heard it here first. More of Aaliyah, live and direct. Tap in. We got more coming.